2016 Rio Olympics. One loss in a women's singles final. One late-night post, written in restrained and ambiguous words. Together, they almost rewrote how the world remembers Li Xiaoxia. As rumors of match fixing in that line. Even if the whole world bullies me, I still believe heaven sees everything. Justice is never absent, only delayed. Became the center of public debate. People seem to forget something far more important. Long before that moment, Li Xiaoxia had already carved a brutal path from Anshan to the very top of the world. She became the 4th Grand Slam champion in the history of Chinese women's table tennis, following Deng Yaping, Wang Nan, and Zhang Yining. You can tell her story from the ending. But to truly understand Li Xiaoxia, you have to go back to the beginning. Her career was never a smooth climb. She entered the national team early, and her talent was obvious, but she lived under constant comparison. Guayu, her peer, became famous young. World titles came quickly. By contrast, Li Xiaoxia always seemed half a step behind. She won plenty of matches. She also lost too many crucial ones. Not mentally tough enough became a label that followed her everywhere. It took years for her to realize the truth. What held her back wasn't skill. It was the psychological weight built from repeated doubt and denial. The turning point didn't arrive overnight. She missed world championships. Injuries kept coming back. Her form rose and fell. The public saw the finals she lost after leading. They rarely remembered how many deciding games she had been broken in and rebuilt herself from. Eventually, she started targeted mental training. She stopped avoiding pressure and forced herself to face it head-on. That uncomfortable adjustment period quietly changed the direction of her career. The real breakthrough came at the 2012 London Olympics. Once again, she stood in the women's singles final. Across the table was Ding Ning, familiar, formidable. But this time, Li Xiaoxia didn't retreat. Every attack was decisive. Power, spin, placement, there was no room to breathe. The 4-1 scoreline wasn't just a victory. It was a delayed declaration of who she truly was. In that moment, she tore off the label of eternal runner-up and stood on top of the Olympic podium. Soon after, she added the team gold. 2 gold medals, 1 Olympics. After London, she reached the highest point of her career and began paying the price. Relentless competition schedules, recurring injuries. She was constantly torn between staying at the top and not being caught. At the 2013 World Championships in Paris, she won the women's singles title, completing the Grand Slam. Olympics, World Championships, World Cup. She had everything, and she had almost nothing left. Then came Rio. Once again, fate placed her in the same position. Women's singles final. Once again, Ding Ning. After 5 games, Li Xiaoxia led 3-2. The finish line was in sight. But the most critical moment, her rhythm slipped. 2 straight games lost. The match was gone. She didn't collapse. She stood quietly on the sidelines, visibly exhausted. After that loss, she didn't leave the arena. She turned to the team event. She pressed every complex emotion back into her body and completed her final mission for the national team. China won the women's team final, securing a 3rd straight Olympic title. On that very day, Li Xiaoxia announced her retirement, ending her national team career with an Olympic gold medal. The real controversy didn't come from her retirement. It came later, after the noise had faded. She wrote one line on social media. "People do what they do. Heaven is watching." It wasn't a post-match outburst. It was an emotional loss of control. It was a reflection, written after stepping away from the court. But once it entered the public arena, it was stripped of context, reinterpreted as a stance, an accusation, even a conspiracy. Very few asked the real question. Was this simply an athlete, injured and exhausted, looking back on an entire career after leaving the game? Or was it a sentence magnified far beyond its original meaning? Years later, when people talk about Li Xiaoxia, they remember the Grand Slam, the London double gold, and the endlessly debated Rio final. But strip away those labels, and what remains is something rarer. She experienced almost every stage a top athlete can face. Being overlooked, doubted, compared, injured, and even held back by herself. She was never a chosen one, escorted smoothly to the summit. She was someone who learned how to win, by failing again and again. That's why, later in the commentary booth, she could instantly understand why Chen Meng wouldn't back down. She knew exactly how heavy that gold medal really was, because she had walked that road herself, and it was never easy. As for the controversies, misunderstandings, and overanalyzed moments, time eventually reduces them to background noise. What remains is clear: an athlete who never avoided competition, never disrespected the court, and never walked away unfinished. Li Xiaoxia's story may not be perfect, but it is real. She conquered the world, She paid the price, and when everything was finally complete, she chose to leave with dignity. For someone who gave her entire life to the table, that is as complete an ending as it gets.